Hi, my lovely friends. If you want to market your books more effectively, don't skip stones, build the pond. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, I just thought that sounded really nice. Today, we're going to be talking about how to build your own reader communities, because as an effective marketing tool and a way of keeping your writer career alive, as a self-published author, one of the most effective ways you can do this is by building somewhere or a place, a forum, a platform, somewhere where your readers can go, where they can interact with you, where they can get updates on what you're doing next, and just generally where they can have contact with you. It is often thought that, I know before I ever became an author, I used to think that they were these amazing people who, I don't know, were living on some sort of pedestal somewhere, and that they weren't regular folk like you and I. But when social media came along, it became quite a leveler for allowing different people from different things. It allowed for readers to get in touch with authors. And while there were some authors, particularly traditionally published ones, who saw this as a nuisance and something that they didn't want to engage with, for self-published authors, they have found over the years this is actually one of the most effective ways of retaining reader interest in your work, and also letting them know when you have something new that you want to share with them. So what are the best sorts of platforms that you can use? Perhaps one of the most common and definitely old-fashioned, but it still works, is the newsletter. I recommend to all of my readers, or to all of my author friends, that they always put away a link at the back of their story as a way for their readers to get in touch with them, to either find them on social media or to sign up for a newsletter. One of the most effective ways of getting your readers to do that is, especially if they've gotten to the end of the book, is to be able to say something like, if you enjoyed this about this story and you want to read more about this and this, then click here to sign up to my free newsletter, and you will also receive a free bonus chapter or a deleted scene or something else like that. And those are very effective ways of building up a newsletter. One of the issues with newsletters is that a lot of readers don't perceive them as a two-way way of keeping in touch with you. So if they want to share things with you, like that maybe they've written a review on a book and they want you to see it, or maybe they want to share with you when you've made a few mistakes. Thank you so much to all my readers who do that for me, because you do it privately and you send it to my email, and I truly love you for it, because usually it's some silly mistake that me and my two editors have completely overlooked. So thank you to my readers that do that. But that is something. You need some way for your readers to get in touch with you. Now, before you start thinking to yourself, oh my God, you're going to be inundated with people going on about your book. No, that's not the way it is at all. Readers are actually, as a rule, are very respectful and very kind people. And I do still get emails today from people who say to me, I have been reading your book since day one, but there was something in particular about a more recent book that they wanted to mention to me. So they thought they'd reach out for the first time in 12 years. And they are absolutely thrilled when you respond. Please make sure you do. But email is not the only one. And obviously that's seen by many as more of a clunky way of doing things. Now, I send a newsletter out once a week, And I do invite my readers to reply, like if I ask them a question on it or something, I invite them to hit reply. And maybe if I send 1,000 emails out or send an email out to 1,000 addresses, I might get 3 or 4 replies. As I say, most people don't bother, but it is still a really good way of letting your readers keep in touch with what you're writing next, what your new releases are, what your schedules are, whether there's any changes or hiccups to your things. And you can also share with them little details that you want to share about your life. And you can also share with them little bits and pieces about the story that you're writing at the moment. It helps build anticipation for when that book comes out. Now, obviously, social media is one of the biggest ways that authors have been able to keep in touch with their readers. I personally have my own Facebook page. I have a Facebook profile, and I also have a private Facebook group where the questions on it are designed that people have to have read one of my books first before they're allowed in. It's not a very big group. I think there's maybe I think there's about 1,000 or so members on that group, but that has actually been going for quite a few years now. And while Facebook itself as a platform has really dropped off and engagement is a lot less because of everything else you get bombarded with when you're on that platform, having a private group for your readers is still a really good idea, where again, you can post information that you want them to see. You can post information that is for them privately, and they can also post things for you. What I absolutely love about my readers in particular is that they will quite often share me, reels and TikToks and things like that of either people that they think would make awesome characters, or better yet, because I write about shifters a lot, so they'll send me reels and videos and pictures of really unusual animals or maybe endangered animals. And and they'll say something like, oh, I think this would make such a really cute shifter and things like that, which I think is wonderful, because that is reader interaction that I'm getting that lets me know those readers are still interested in my work. But by providing them that space, it also allows my readers to talk with each other. For example, if a reader has a question about a particular book, or whether or not another book has come out or what have you, and I'm asleep, quite often my Northern Hemisphere readers will jump in and answer the question for me, which is really good. And it helps build up that community atmosphere that readers themselves really enjoy. And plus, which I'm on there too. So, yeah, that works as well. Which brings me to a third way of doing this, which is I hear a lot of authors have used it, but I don't. So I'm only talking about this from a possible perspective, and that is Discord. Now, the reason why I don't have a Discord is because I don't understand it. So I don't understand, like my grandson, bless his heart, he did try to explain it to me. Oh, no, Grandma, if you do this and you put this and you can do this here and then you can send them this like here. And I said, yeah, okay, I'll do that later. And that was probably about 6 months ago, and I haven't done it. I don't think my readers are Discord people. And if they are, they've never let me know. So I don't tend to use it. What I have noticed from watching videos from other authors that do have a Discord, they seem to spend a lot of time on there talking to their readers, which is lovely. But if you've got words to write, I would have thought that could become quite, in my opinion, it could become a bit overwhelming. Like, say, for example, I will answer the comments and questions I have for my social media in the morning. I will answer the comments and everything that I have for YouTube, for example, at lunchtime, and I will do YouTube and I will do Patreon. And then I may or may not look at them again in the evening if there's been a few, if I see I've got an influx of notifications. But otherwise, I'll just do, again, it's a system. Answering comments and things once a day, but doing it in one set time. And then if somebody else comments 5 minutes later, I will not get to that until the next day. Because if you can use a lot of time responding to absolutely everything as soon as it comes in. My readers understand that I'm writing, so they're not going to jump on me if I take, and plus which they know I'm in a different time zone to them 90% of the time. And so they understand if it takes me a little while to respond. But I do try and respond and clear all those notifications every day. Otherwise, again, that could get quite overwhelming. But if it's done like that, then it really doesn't take that long at all. Which finally brings me on to Patreon, which was the other thing I wanted to mention. I do find, since the social media platforms like Facebook and what have you have become so money hungry and everything else, and they also suppress an awful lot of content and what have you, if you do set yourself up with a dedicated Patreon, even if it's just for free members, it is a really good way of encouraging your readers to see that they are part of your community. Because when they go onto Patreon, they're on your page, they are only seeing the information that relates to you, your posts, the information you want to share, and things like that. Now, admittedly, apart from using the comment section, they don't have any way of, for you to get in touch with them in return. Like they can't upload pictures and things like that, like my Facebook, the members of my Facebook group do. But they can still comment, and they can send you direct messages through the Patreon app so that, they can get in touch with you that way. And to be honest, that is something that I have been working on more consistently in this last year or so, is trying to encourage more of my readers onto the Patreon platform, even as a free member, purely and simply so that I know when I send out a notification and say that I've got a new book that I've put out on pre-order, I know they're going to see it. Because at the moment, with relation to other social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Blue Sky, all the others, I've got no guarantee my readers are going to see it. I've got no guarantee that anybody is going to see those posts if I put them up there. I still do, particularly within the group that I have there. But I do know if I put stuff on Patreon, then they not only see it on my Patreon page, but they usually get an email about it too, to let them know what the post is about. So I find I get a better retention that way. I have more, what do you call it? I get more response from the Patreon because people, I can ask them direct questions and they can just respond in the comments and things like that. And I think that sort of focus, makes a really good reader community. Plus which, again, they can still talk amongst themselves in the comment sections, which is, again, always sweet to see. I love the fact that particularly for my readers, they are so generous with their time, and they also make a point of realizing, oh, Lisa's in New Zealand, so she's probably asleep. And they will answer, if they're from the UK, Europe, or from America, they will turn around and they will answer questions themselves, which again is truly helpful. So this is what I meant by saying, don't skip the stones. Do those things like Amazon ads, Facebook ads, TikTok ads, whatever ads, blah, 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 blah. They are all skipping stones. They are all just lightly touching people, and there's a good chance that even if your potential reader sees that once, they might not go back to it, or they might not try and find it again. It won't register because the skipping stone just hovers along the surface and then it disappears. But if you build a community, if you build a pool of readers, a community where your readers can be, where they can go, where they can interact with each other and with you, that helps make your new releases and even like information fact finding to do with my books. The number of times I have asked my readers on either my Facebook group or my Patreon about a particular route from one city to another in America, or, what's a good place to dine in this state or whatever, and immediately been flooded with responses from my wonderful readers. When they feel like they're part of your writing journey and they feel like they're personally invested in your stories too, because you're asking them questions and sharing things and sharing part of your writing journey, as well as your, hey, I've got a new book out, you want to buy it? Those are the communities that last. Those ones where they feel they know you and where you get to know them. And I know for me personally, as an author, that has been one of the biggest gifts I've ever had in becoming a self-published author. So what do you think, my friends? Does this sound really daunting, or is it something you feel you'd like to explore? Do you want me to talk more about it? Is there something specific or a particular platform you'd like to talk about with me? Sorry, I have to keep an eye out because I know my grandson's due in about 5 minutes. But also, can somebody help me understand Discord? Is it good for authors? Let me know in the comments below. But in the meantime, I write long-form content on Mondays and Thursdays, and I do read-alongs with the author on Saturdays. At the moment, I think we're still reading A Marriage of Necessity, but we must be coming to the close of that soon. Then I have to think of something else to read to you. But I am trying to improve the watch time on my videos. I truly appreciate you if you've made it this far. That definitely helps. As I say, I answer every comment. Please hit like and subscribe if you'd like to. And yeah, in the meantime, keep writing, my friends, because you've got a book to get finished. I've got a book to get started, but maybe I'll do that over the weekend. Who knows? In the meantime, keep writing, have fun, and until next video, we'll see you then. Bye.